Hello, welcome to my channel, Another Bibliophile Reads. My name is Greg, and I am here to do a book haul. Last Saturday, I completed my 100 book challenge, where I challenged myself to read 100 books that I already own before buying a new book. And since that challenge is done, I went out and bought books over the past few days. And here they are. The first three are ones that I bought from Amazon. And it is Gold by Rumi. These are translations of the famous poet Rumi. They are translated by Halia Liza Ghaffori. And I discovered this from an email from the publisher because I order a lot directly from the publisher. And these are new translations of Rumi. There is a video channel of the translator, who is a poet in her own right and a singer in Persian. And they're quite lovely little videos. She doesn't have a whole lot of viewers, but I'll leave a link down below in the show notes. And if you like poetry, go ahead and take a look at her channel. So that's the first book. Second is Mr. Either Or by Aaron Puchai Khan. And this is a novel in verse. It is American mythology, noir thriller, and classic epic into gritty rhymes, foreboding overtones, and groovy jams surrounding the reader in a surreal atmosphere. And yeah, it looks pretty interesting. On the back cover, one of the reviewers describes it as a combination of Raymond Chandler, Edgar Rice Burroughs, and H.P. Lovecraft. So a novel in verse. Now, his verse is not all the same. You can see that's very widespread, and there you have like a more traditional poet. So the ones I bought. And then I bought Vintage by Tanem Brombach. And this is a poet who went to work on a garbage scow around 2 dams, and she was the only woman working on this garbage scow. And this is a fictionalized recreation of her time on that garbage scow in verse. So that could be very interesting. And those were the 3 books that I bought from Amazon. There was another novel that I wanted to buy that was long listed for the Booker International Prize, but it was back ordered by 2 months. So that is a book I did not get from Amazon. And then yesterday, I went down to Richmond, Virginia to visit a used bookstore, Second and Charles, that I have never visited before. It is a used bookstore, it is a comic shop, and it is like a game shop. And they had quite a large selection of used books. Unfortunately, it wasn't really all that well organized. They had all the A authors together in a bunch of shelves, all the B authors in a bunch of shelves, and so forth. And some of those alphabet got mixed up a bit. And it was a little difficult to find things. It was mostly popular fiction. They must have had 60 feet of John Grisham novels. So I guess a lot of people sell their John Grisham novels, and not a lot of people buy used John Grisham novels. But I did find a few interesting books. This is The Wall by H.G. Adler. He is a Holocaust survivor, and this is sort of a fictionalized account of what he sees as one man's journey after he comes back from the Holocaust. I did read one of this author's other books, which was called The Journey, and that was basically the Jews escaping after the war and the journeys that they had. I really enjoyed that one. I read it on my Kindle, and so I picked this one up at the used bookstore. It was not a book that I was actually going out to look for. I also picked up Morwen by J.F. Powers. I don't know a lot about this book. It does have a very fine reputation. The back says, the hero of J.F. Power's comic masterpiece is Father Urban, a man of the cloth, who was also a man of the world. So I presume there's going to be some tensions between sex and religion there. But mostly I bought this because this was a NYRB classic, and you can see that I have a whole bunch of those classics right there. And I figure it was dirt cheap and this would fit right in. I don't know when I'll get a chance to read this. And last, A Flag for Sunrise by Robert Stone. Now the back says, possessed of an astonishing dramatic, emotional, and philosophical resonance, A Flag for Sunrise is a classic novel of Americans drawn into the maelstrom of a small Central American country on the brink of a revolution. The time is now. The country is Tican, which is a fictionalized country, but it's Ecuador. An ancient, complex society about to explode, swarming with homegrown terrorists, revolutionaries and counter-revolutionaries, as well as American spooks and intrigues from abroad. Now, this book was published in between 1977 and 1981. And I grew up in the early 80s, graduated from high school in 83. So I am aware of what happened in Ecuador on a high level event, because I heard it in the daily news. But I think this could be a very interesting book. I read his other novel, Dog Soldiers, and I really enjoyed that one. Again, this was not a book that I was looking for when I went to the bookstore. I had a list of about 20 books that I was looking for, and I found none of them. So that was my trip yesterday. Today I went to a closer used bookstore in downtown Fredericksburg, and I got some more books. The Jewel of Aptor by Samuel R. Delaney. Now, people familiar with this channel will remember a few weeks ago, I attempted to read this book for my 100 book challenge, but there was a printing error where the print ran into the binding, and I could only read I could not read like the last 3 or 4 letters of the print on the left-hand side of the page, and it just made reading too difficult. So I had to, unfortunately, DNF that book. I had been enjoying it, but they had this book for dirt cheap today, and I got my replacement copy. Miss Lonely Hearts and Day of the Locusts. Noah, and everyone who reads it must converse, did a fascinating review of Miss Lonely Hearts. Now, I did read Nathaniel West's The Dream Life of Basil Snell for my 100 book challenge. I think I have read one of these books before. I think it was Day of the Locust, but now that I think of it, maybe it was Miss Lonely Hearts. Either way, this book was dirt cheap, so I picked up a copy, and I do intend to reread Miss Lonely Hearts, or read it for the first time. I can't quite remember. And the last book I picked up was The Golden Gate by Vikram Seth. And this is another novel in verse. This is all in sort of very formal cantos. So actually, that's a lot of books in verse. Now, one of the things I got me sort of mad after I got this book home, I noticed some dickweed had marked up some pages with like the rhyme scheme. Most of it's okay. Most of it's clean, because I had thumbed through it in the store and I didn't see any markings, and I'd missed those markings on the first page, but it's fine. It wasn't a very expensive book, but here we go. Actually, that's 4 books of poetry that I have bought for this haul, and that's quite a lot. Now, that's not all. I have also been buying Kindle books. The first one is 6 Stories by Mark Wolensowski. And this is purely Criminali's fault that I bought this book. He gave it such a good review that when I saw it on sale yesterday for 99 cents, I said, yep, I'm going to buy that. I have also bought 2 books by Joyce Carol Oates. Blonde. And I bought that, or I put it on my wish list after Miss Reads a Lot gave it a review on her channel. And it was on sale for $1.99. And how can I resist these $1.99 Kindle sales? Well, the whole purpose of the 100 book challenge was to resist these sales, and I hope I'm not backsliding immediately. The other Joyce Carol Oates book I bought was also $1.99, and that is a hard case crime mystery novel, and that was Triumph of the Spider Monkey. I don't know anything about that book other than I like the author, I like hard case crime. It was $1.99. Buy. I have bought The Goat Castle Murder by Michael Llewellyn. This is a mystery story based on a true story about life after the Civil War in the South. I forgot the name of the town. It's near New Orleans. I forgot the name, but it's rich people behaving badly. The author had actually come to speak in my community, and he says if he had tried to write about how crazy these people were as a real novel, it would have been dismissed as just too fantastical, that it would not have been believable. But apparently all these characters are based on true events, and this is a true murder. In real life, the murder is unsolved, but as the author explained, the townspeople think they know who the murderer is. They just don't really talk about it a lot. So that should be a lot of fun. And is that the last of my Kindle purchases. So there's my book haul after my 100 book challenge. Thank you for watching and have a good day. Goodbye.